Hey, what's up, guys? So, obviously, I wanted to talk about the Silicon Valley bank failure. This is crazy. There's so many things that could happen, what you should do, what I'm going to do. It's just so crazy. It's all me and my friends have been talking about the last couple of days. Just it's affecting so many people, not just people that even had money there. Obviously there was a bank failure. I've been reading into it. Obviously, I'm not going to say I'm an expert in banking or anything like that, but it seems to stem from the bonds that they were buying at the low rates, and as the Fed was raising the rates, they kind of became worthless. And it's just this whole thing. I'm still reading into it, so I don't want to say I have all the information yet. I'm still going over, possibly if it could be more banks. And then obviously over the weekend, a lot of these crypto stable coins have, breaking its peg. I saw one of them was down to like 92 cents last I checked. And that then has implications because people are keeping their money there, and it's just wild. I've just been reading things over and over. I saw a couple tweets. I saw, I guess Bill Ackman said that they sold half their assets, or everybody that has 250K or less are going to have their money on Monday, and then everybody else should have, they should have 50% of what their deposits were on Monday, and then the rest should come 3 to 6 months after. I mean, these are crazy companies that have large amounts of money with the bank. Trying to see where he tweeted it, unless he deleted the tweet, which would then be even crazier. But I saw it this morning. Um, I saw somebody else also tweeted. Let's see. Um, I think it's. I think it. I think his screen name's something like this. He's actually an insightful person. And let's see if he deleted it also, which would be very interesting. Maybe they did. So what I read last was that these people were getting some of their money back. By the way, like this Kramer thing is circulating around. There's just so much um, going on. It's just so crazy. So what I would do going forward is, I have businesses. Some of the stuff that I would focus on is not keeping any. I wouldn't have 250K in any single bank, because then it's not insured unless there's certain things that you can do. You could talk to the bank. I think they insure higher amounts through CDs, but that's one of those things that you have to go in there. You got to talk and make sure it is insured. But a lot of these companies, one example is like Etsy. Etsy couldn't make deposits to their store owners on Friday. They halted deposits because they had payroll through Silicon Valley. So now the domino is going down the line. Now people aren't getting paid that are there, like their daily deposits aren't coming through. So now they're strapped for money. Then they may not pay their employees. So it's this whole domino effect. As a business, you have to make sure your money is insured. It's so nutty that these guys would have, you know, a $500 million and it's just not insured. Like, when there's so many banks out there. You'd think you'd be spreading it out, or holding it in other places. I did read. Let's see if I can find it. He was talking about silent bank runs. I guess people are going to be moving their money out of the traditional bank space into money markets. Um, it's just so. See if I could find it. It's, but yeah, it's just this domino effect of going over and over. So that's one way I would protect myself. Definitely talk to your bank. If you have over 250K, I would see if they're insuring it some way, and if not, I'd be moving and spreading out multiple banks. It's just I'm seeing more and more people that have nothing to do with this bank not getting paid. And the biggest thing now is, are other banks going to have the same issue, like smaller regional banks? My big thing is I'm waiting, because if there's no other bank that this happens to within the next couple weeks, I would probably say it's going to be good. But if I see one more bank over the next, I don't know, call it 3 to 4 weeks, that have this type of issue, I would then say there's many more out there. One is could be a fluke, but two, to me, two means there's five at least. So I would definitely be on the lookout if any other banks are having issues with withdrawals or anything like that. Um, oh yeah, here's the tweet I read from a trusted source. Depositors will get 50% on Monday and Tuesday, and the balance will realize value over the next 3 to 6 months. Yeah. Yep. I mean, Bill Ackman is obviously respected person in you know. So do I think this is true? I would probably lean towards that. Um, he's just not some guy that's just talking. Um, but unless it's said in by the government or by Silicon Valley Bank, then you never really know. But this goes to show you, even the domino effect. The people that work there, like, you could just be a teller that works at this bank. You have no, um, your actions did not cause this, but yet you're going to be out of a job. Which, this is why I tell everybody, like, you should always have like a side hustle or a side business. Um, even if you're working somewhere, because at least you're in control of your destiny. Like, you lose this job as a teller, the teller has no money. They're going to file unemployment. But, if they have a business to fall back on, at least they have income coming in. And then, they can focus on their business while they look for another job, at least, and then maybe that business grows and it becomes your full time thing. Um, but you should always have some type of money coming in outside of, if you're working at a company, because you just never know. The actions of others can really hurt you, and there's nothing that you could do about it. But yeah, there's a lot of information. Listen, do I think all the information floating around out there is true? Uh, Obviously not. But some have been in corporate filings with how much money they had at these banks, people that invested in them. Um, some of it is large, as you can see here, and then some of it to standards of the companies. I mean, Lending Club had 20 million to 21 million dollars there. Like, do I think that they're gonna go under? No. I mean, obviously that's money, but in the whole scheme of things, it's not gonna bankrupt Lending Club. But yeah, I mean, some of these companies had some large. Look at this. I mean, Circle had 3.3 billion. Like that's a hit. I mean, that'd be a mighty large L to take. But so like I said, if my business spread it among different banks, different lending institutions, and that would probably be your best bet. Especially if you're a small business, don't have over 250K in any one spot. And then if you do, I would definitely reach out to the bank to make sure you're insured. Um, and I would keep an eye, if you're a crypto investor, about all these stable coins. I do believe at one point there's going to be one main stable coin, and that stable coin will be so large that um, it wouldn't be able to be unpegged. There'd be so much backing it that it really wouldn't move. But because I feel like there's so many different stable coins that the funds are kind of spread out, it doesn't make one super strong. So if you have a large amount of withdrawals, they can push this thing one way or the other, or fully collapse like a Luna. Um, so I would say that at some point I feel like there's going to be a consolidation of stable coins. Either the others will go under, or they'll merge somehow. I'm not saying it's going to happen today or tomorrow. I just feel like, for in general of crypto, that would not, that'd probably be a good thing to happen. Is one major stable coin that's backed, and you know that's where I think it should go at least. Obviously, Binance is pushing for theirs, but I don't know if everyone's gonna let that happen because it is an overseas company. I think the federal government would want to see one in the U.S. or in the U.K. or something like that. But I'm just looking around. I'm still reading the articles, find out more. Um, but I did read, though, hedge funds are buying up the debt or buying up the deposits of these companies, from 60 cents to 80 cents on the dollar, which is interesting because I feel like if they're paying 80 cents on the dollar, they think they're going to get paid. Um, at least if I were a hedge fund and I was buying up the deposits at 80 cents, I just feel like that's a large amount. I could see somebody, or it's early. I guess if they're not getting money and nothing happens for a couple of weeks, you'll be able to buy that, maybe 30 cents on the dollar. But it's interesting how fast these hedge funds stepped in to buy the deposits, which leads me to believe they're going to get paid. Um, but this is a continuing thing. It goes to show you don't have all your eggs in one basket. Don't trust anybody, one source. Always do your own research, and always be sure that your funds are spread out. And those that can't, like an Etsy type store that gets paid by Etsy, I do believe that Etsy is able. I'm sure that they didn't have all their money in this bank, so I'm sure they'll be able to get you guys your payments this week. And arguments say they had a lot of money tied up. I'm sure they're probably going to get some type of credit line or something that will get their stores paid, because if you're not paying your stores, they're going to close up their stores, and then it's going to be a domino effect, and then Etsy's going to go take a big hit. So I think their number one priority is to pay the store. So if you own an Etsy store, I think you're going to get paid. I just don't know if you're going to get paid on Monday. You might get paid Thursday or the following week. But I think they sent out an email or something I saw on Twitter. I would believe that they're obviously pushing to get money to pay everybody, and I don't think there's a worry there. I would not think that they had all their money in this bank. I have a feeling that they were just doing payroll through that bank, which, just because they're doing payroll there doesn't mean all their funds are there. They might just have enough there to cover maybe a couple weeks of store payouts, but they probably spread some of their other money throughout other banks and other institutions. But like I said, I'm not a whole expert on this. I just know from a business side what I would do to protect myself. Um, Especially in all these different spaces, the crypto space, the banking, your business. and this could be the beginning of something large because I think I saw somewhere where when Lehman showed trouble, it took like weeks for them to collapse. But because now everything is on social media, it spreads like wildfire. That took 48 hours for this thing to go down. Because once there's an issue, it spreads all over social media. And then there's a mass withdrawal, and everything happens so much faster with social media that, maybe they would have been good if they had another 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe this still would have happened. But when you have the social media aspect, it definitely speeds things up and creates, you know, everybody being worried and just kind of, you know, emptying out everything. Just wild how this could happen in this day and age when there's, where's the checks and balances within this company for investing and, you know, do I, like I said, do I think this is the only bank in trouble? Probably not, but maybe the others can squeak by. Just because you're in trouble doesn't mean you're going to collapse. But I would be keeping an eye out over the next couple of weeks on any word of another bank. I would think that you would get it out of maybe a regional bank, smaller than this. Um, but that's what I would be looking at and see how stable everything is. Is the government stepping in? Are they not? Are people quick to buy up the assets of the bank? Um, but I just want to give you my thoughts. I've been talking about this. I'm probably gonna be talking about it all day today and tomorrow. And people I know are affected by this. Even my companies are slightly affected by this because we get paid by some of our. We do have Etsy stores, so I get paid. We didn't get paid, so obviously I was affected by this. But this is why you should always keep cash off to the side somewhere because things happen that have that you have no control over, and you just got to make it through it. All right. I hope nobody had large sums of money in this bank, personally or with your business.